Hello everyone and welcome to our first Iceberg chart review. Today we'll be taking a look at the LSD Dream Emulator Iceberg, created by Josuno on February 23, 2026. This will be quite interesting, as LSD Dream Emulator is one of those games that practically begs for the Iceberg chart treatment. It's intentionally obtuse, has a dedicated but niche community, and sits at the intersection of technical curiosity and genuine surrealism. Josuno's Iceberg chart clocks in at 147 entries across 10 distinct layers, and for the most part, it earns its length. This isn't a chart that hits 100 plus entries by repeating itself or padding with trivia. There's some real depth here. Let's check it out. When it comes to the layer structure, 10 layers is a solid number for a game of this scope. The progression feels deliberate and mostly earns the ordering it goes with. The top layer opens with information everyone knows about: rarest PS1 game, Greyman/Spy, Bright Moon Apartment, Violence District, Loud Footsteps. These are recognizable to anyone who spent even a few hours watching YouTube content about the game, and that's exactly what you want from a surface layer, a handshake with a casual fan before you start dragging them under. Things start getting more specific around layers 3 and 4. Entries like teleport triggers, LSD demo movie 1997, debug info, astronaut link, and wall clipping occupy a nice middle ground. They require some knowledge of the game but aren't impenetrable. The bottom layers are where the chart really earns its Iceberg credentials. Simdoc.mom, zdummy.str, February 1998 textures, White Space, Original Cinematic Event 6, Giant Geysa's circle button link, and The Game Isn't Random at All are all deep cuts that even dedicated fans won't immediately recognize. The final layer in particular lands well. One thing that's slightly off is that a few entries feel like they could swap tiers without anyone raising an eyebrow. Flashing Water, a fairly well-known emulation issue, sitting in the first layer is fine, but having the LSD Dream Emulator wiki, which is a popular source of information about the game, on the second layer feels misplaced. Overall, the Iceberg chart's layers are well constructed with fairly balanced distribution. The tooltip description quality is one of the stronger aspects of the chart, and it deserves some real credit. The vast majority of entries have descriptions, and most of them are actually informative, rather than just restating the entry title. Here are some highlights of good tooltip writing. The Greyman/Spy entry concisely explains what he does mechanically without over-explaining, which is that he erases flashback data and sets your graph position to -10, -10. Dying Woman tells you exactly what she is and where to find her without hand-holding. The circle button tooltip is a standout, as it unpacks an entire hidden mechanic across multiple NPCs and locations, which can include stopping the gunman and Black Wolf, riding the train, or ascending via the Ferris wheel, which is quite illuminating. Trigger bypass is similarly well written, explaining both the mechanic and the likely underlying cause, which is triggers being camera-based rather than position-based. There are also some tooltips that have a bit of personality. The LSD creepypasta entry calls it a poorly written internet horror story that relies on shock value and nothing else, which is refreshingly honest. The upper texture's true identities tooltip notes nobody wants to go and find those magazines though, which gets a pass for being accurate. The corrupted music tracks entry even has a self-aware interjection with a "most likely my fault" note, acknowledging the creator's own role in spreading a misconception, which is a nice touch of transparency. Here's where the descriptions fall short though. A handful of entries are either completely empty, like February 1998 textures, Bright Moon Apartment is a real place, Glitched Father and Daughter, or so brief they don't add much. Dream Graph has no description at all, which is a notable omission given it's central to how the whole game functions. Overall though, the description quality is above average for an Iceberg chart. Almost all the entries have something useful, which is a better hit rate than you see on a lot of Iceberg charts of similar nature. Now let's talk categorization and presentation. The Iceberg chart uses 4 categories: technical, which is blue, NPC/object, which is orange, theory/myths, which is teal, and related media, which is yellow. Not every entry is tagged, some are left untagged, which creates a slight visual inconsistency, but it's not a deal breaker. The categories themselves are good divisions for this game's subject matter, and having color markers helps visually break up what would otherwise be a wall of text entries. As for the Iceberg chart's visual aspect, the background image is sourced from the game itself, which is an appropriate and atmospheric choice, as LSD's visual style translates well to an Iceberg aesthetic. 9 entries carry a sidebar image marker. Greyman's Last Spy, Day 365 and the Ending, Glitch Textures, Clockwork Machines, Out of Bounds Area, LSD Demo Movie 1997, Kyoto Bridge Geisha, Lions Climbing Trees, February 1998 Textures, and Lovely Sweet Dream and Followers. That's a reasonable spread, and the selection makes sense since these are all entries where seeing a screenshot is meaningfully more informative than reading about it. The LSD Demo Movie 1997 and Kyoto Bridge Geisha images in particular are well chosen, since these are things most people haven't seen. Each layer also has its own sidebar image, which is a nice touch that adds some visual continuity throughout the chart. Now for the sources and links the iceberg provides. It's easily another high point. A solid majority of entries link out to something, like the LSD Dream Emulator fandom wiki, CompuLSD.com, which is the community research wiki, the cutting room floor, YouTube videos, archived interviews, and even a Google Sheets breakdown of the game's music. The sourcing is varied and consistently points to primary or community documentation rather than random individuals. Another particularly good element is the heavy use of CompuLSD.com, which reflects that the creator actually knows the community's best resources, rather than defaulting to the easier-to-find fandom wiki for everything. The cutting room floor links appear where they are genuinely relevant, such as unused entries rather than being sprinkled in for credibility. In conclusion, this is a well-crafted iceberg from someone who clearly knows their subject. The description quality alone puts it a notch above a lot of what's on the platform. Most entries aren't just labels, they actually tell you something. The sourcing is strong, the depth is real, and the game is a great fit for the format. The main thing holding it back from being a truly excellent iceberg chart is the handful of blank descriptions scattered across the deeper layers, where context matters most. If you're at all curious about LSD Dream Emulator, this is a really worthwhile way to explore how much is going on beneath the surface of that strange PS1 game, and fitting enough, the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more videos. Many thanks to my patrons for supporting the Iceberg Threads project, it means the world to me. Check out the links in the description if you want to support the project as well. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun!